Организатору данной конференции за приглашение. В первую очередь, как уже было подчеркнуто из выступлений моих коллег, что миграционные процессы, они на самом деле актуальны и стоят на повестке дня не только государств Центральноазиатского региона, развивающихся государств, но также и характерны для и развитых государств. Небольшое, наверное, будет вступление по самой актуальности данной проблемы. Миграционные процессы, в частности, они включают в себя очень много аспектов, и одним из очень важных является проблема нелегальной миграции. Нелегальная миграция, ее влияние на политические, экономические, социальные факторы. И в своей работе я рассматриваю влияние нелегальных миграционных процессов на неформальную экономику на примере Казахстана. Учитывая формат данной конференции, что он международный, дальнейшее свое выступление, я продолжу на английском языке. I will start with briefly introducing the term of informal economy. Mainly, it includes all the unreported income from the production of legal goods and services, either from monetary or barter transactions. Hence, all economic activities, which would generally be taxable, will be reported to the state and tax authorities. Scholars in general, they tend to agree that the relationship between the illegal immigration and the shadow economy is the subject to the ineffectiveness of institutions, in particular the property rights system. What was fascinating, briefly the background about this study is that I got introduced to the Hernandez book, which is called The Mystery of the Capital, published in 2000. Книга, опубликованная Хернандо де Сото, «Загадка капитала», она произвела достаточно такой фурор в области проблем нелегальной миграции. В этой книге, почему она это произвела, я в дальнейшем расскажу. And briefly, I will start with a theoretical background. Williams and Winbank in 1995, they stated that formally considered to be a typical developing countries phenomenon. The informal economy is now acknowledged to be a widespread and essential element of advanced capitalism. And the question immediately arises why people do engage in informal activities. According to Schneider, in his work published in 2002, in the official labor market, firms or individuals have to cover the costs associated with official employment. These costs are increased greatly by the burden of tax and social contributions to wages, as well as by the legal administrative regulations to control economic activity. Generally, such costs tend to be greater than the wage effective earned by the worker. Consequently, such a situation provides a strong incentive to work in the informal economy. Most of the studies conducted on the informal economy primarily emphasize either the theoretical specification of this term or the role of the state. In his work published in 1973, Hart, who is considered to be the first introducing the term informal income opportunities, according to his estimation, the informal economy implies all income-producing activities outside the formal wage market. Other scholars emphasize the role of the state, that is to say that the formal sector is basically a protected sector and the informal one is unprotected. Studies conducted by Weiss in 1973, Mozambique in 1976. Castillos and Porter in 1989, they argue that the informal economy is characterized by one central feature, which is it is unregulated by the institutions of society in a legal and social environment in which civil activities are regulated. As I already pointed out, that in general, basically the informal economy implies that all the unreported income outside of the legal system. The relationship between illegal immigration and shadow economy is the subject of the effectiveness of the institutions. According to De Soto, when migrants, especially illegal, move from developing and former communist countries to developed nations, well-developed institutions eventually absorb them into a network property system that helps them to produce surplus value. At the same time, De Soto argues that developing countries lacking such an integrated formal property system, unable efficiently to integrate migrants into the formal sector and fix their assets into fungible forms. Consequently, the failure of the legal order to keep up with modern migration trends forced the new migrants to invent extra legal substitutes for established law. While anonymous business transactions are widespread in developed countries, the migrants in the developing countries can deal only with people they know and they trust. But such informal arrangements are inefficient. As a result, the study concludes that developing countries remain undercapitalized, whereas developed ones prosper due to the ability to transform the invisible to the visible and thus to create legal capital. Schneider and Klingelmeyer in 2004 also stressed the importance of the effectiveness of the legal institutional system and regulation policies. In their view, governments should emphasize the importance of the efficiency of the bureaucratic system rather than its size. Empirical studies conducted by Johnson, Friedman, Kaufman, they all conclude that government should put more emphasis on the regulation, on the improving the efficiency of the laws, rather than increasing their numbers. I will just briefly state the several empirical studies here, and they all have all find the significance of the influence of the labor regulations on the shadow economy. Kaufman and Johnson in 1999, they find that regulations lead to a substantial increase in labor costs in the official economy. But since most of these costs can be shifted on the employees, these costs provide another incentive to work in the shadow economy where they can be avoided. Friedman, Johnson, Kaufman in 1999, they find that every available measure of regulations is significantly correlated with the shadow of the unofficial economy. And the sign of this relationship is unambiguous. More regulation is correlated with a larger shadow economy. Basically, regulation is associated with a 10% increase in the shadow economy. But some governments, they prefer more regulations because it leads to an increase in power of the bureaucrats and to higher rate of employment in the public sector. Overall, the consensus on the impact of illegal immigration on the shadow economy has not been established. Conventional literature on this particular topic is basically done by the case study approach, and people's, as it's been already numerously pointed out here, their decision to migrate from one country to another or from one place to a different place is based on the rational approach and estimating the net benefits of the decision from several different alternatives and take in consideration all the factors. If the net benefit exceeds the cost, then the migration takes place. While considering several options of destination, people tend to choose the one that provides them the biggest net value. Several studies I want to point out here on the relationship of my conducted study. The first one is the Pu and Smith in 1983. They were examining migration impact on the informal economy in the Philippines in the urban areas, and they find that female migrants tend to enter more into the urban occupational structure through the informal sector than the male migrants. Jones and Ram in 2004, while they were studying the relationship between migration and the informal economy in Great Britain, they also find that illegal migration was a key reason for the survival of the Asian-owned businesses in Birmingham and the West Midlands in supplying the cheap and flexible labor. Bracco and Honest in 2004, they were exploring the links between the shadow economy and immigration, and they performed the empirical study on Italy and find preliminary evidence that illegal immigration is positively correlated with the shadow economy, but once again, the regulation law, which was passed at that time, was Lithuanian law. It had almost zero effect on the effectiveness of the taking measures. So why it matters? And as I already pointed out earlier, in 2000, Hernán Soto made a valuable argument while he was conducting the study, basically in Latin American countries, and estimated that almost $9.3 trillion are in the shared economy, which is fascinating because if we look at this table, then we can see that it roughly is the almost twice less than the GDP of the United States. It's the equivalent GDP of China. It's higher than the GDP of major European countries, Germany and France, larger than Russia, and of course, of Kazakhstan. For example, in 2012, there was, it's not only the case for, as I was pointed out for the developing world, but also for the developed worlds. And the size of the shadow economy, for example, in the United States in 2012, according to the estimation, was around 8% of the GDP. So, the major researcher who is doing his studies on the informal economy is the European scientist, social scientist, Schneider. And in 2009, he published his work mainly dealing with the post-communist countries. And that particular study, he outlined all the countries of that particular region and how much of the shared economy represents of their total GDP. So as we can see from this table, starting from, the sample is relatively small. It only covers the 7-year period. But we can see that the size of the shared economy is pretty huge. It's almost half of the GDP of Kazakhstan. And the trends, we can see that they were increasing up until 2006, and in 2007 there was a slight decline. Therefore, my major theory was a preliminary study that illegal immigration is positively correlated with the shadow economy and is the subject to the current legal institutional system, in particular the property rights system, taking into consideration the Hernán Soto argument. And the methodology is pretty simple. I'm just looking for the current trends of the observed period of trends covering from 1999 until 2007. I'm looking the trends of and dynamics of the property rights system. From the illegal immigration, shadow economy, and the property rights system. This illegal immigration data is extremely hard to obtain, as you all know, but this is the roughly, in this study I made a rough proxy for this estimation, considering the trends of the immigration trends which were taking place in Kazakhstan during the observed period. And as you can see from this table, from 1999 till 2006, the immigration was increasing. The external immigration was increasing, and in 2007 there was also a slight drop, which is following the trends of the shared economy. In my estimates, I am relying on the official data. This is from the Statistical Agency of Kazakhstan. But as far as the illegal immigration is concerned, 1/3 of the so-called private visits which are registered by the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Kazakhstan, they usually end up involved in the illegal activities. Conventionally, illegal migrants entering Kazakhstan could be classified into the following groups. The first one, are the citizens of the neighboring countries who enter the country in the morning, bringing the vegetables and fruits, and exit in the evening. The second one, seasonal workers, who are mainly employed in construction and agricultural spheres. And the third one, citizens of the neighboring countries who are involved in cross-border trade. The first two categories depend on the hiring employer of Kazakhstan, and the third group represents the independent migrants who take the market share of the local entrepreneurs. And as I pointed out earlier, this is the conducted study of Schneider. You can see from the table that pretty much all of the post-communist countries, in particular the post-former Soviet Union countries, are experiencing the same trends. The share economy, the size of the share economy is takes a, I wouldn't say relatively big, but a huge part of the local GDPs. The data for the property rights system, as it's usually relied on one of the major publishers of this particular data, is taken from the Heritage Foundation. And we also can see that the property rights system index is quite low for Kazakhstan. The measurement goes from from 1 to 100, 100 representing the perfect property rights system, and 1 representing the relatively weak property rights system. And for Kazakhstan, the index is quite low. So it's around from 25 to 30 numeric number. And as Heritage Foundation notes, though our country is experiencing a relatively good transition to a market-led economy, further reforms need to be need to solidify the already gained results. But at the same time, corruption prevails in public services. It's been already stressed by previous researchers. The judiciary, the security force, and the economy generally. And it also contributes to the capital flight. Even though the new procedures have been introduced in 2014, still we lack the capacity to protect the property rights system. So implications, the major theoretical one is that we need to conduct further studies on this particular issue. In particular, we need to put more emphasis on the empirical research, running the cross-country time series analysis. Of course, the biggest problem with the data, and I'm here open for your suggestions how to obtain this kind of data. And maybe we can come up with some kind of construction of creating this variable. And the policy implications, we need to improve our property rights system. That's the major one. The second one, that certain policy measures should be taken in order to change the working attractiveness from informal to the formal economy. Another way to shift the migrants who are involved in the illegal activities to the legal framework. And the third one, not surprisingly, that the illegal immigration, the shadow economy in general, it's basically associated with illegal activities such as drug trafficking, transporting people across national borders, prostitution, murder of hire, and so on and so forth. And for example, between 5 to 25% of the total number of illegal aliens in Russia may be involved in the criminal activities. As a result, the government in Kazakhstan probably should put more emphasis on creating a reliable and constantly updated source of information, tracking this kind of activities. Thank you very much for your attention.